Okay. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. So maybe 2 or 3 more days class should be there on top of Python. So Python, as per the latest recap, I just want to convey to all of you what we have covered, the high level. So the last classes we have mainly covered on top of some basic operation on DF, that is data frame. So data frame, what is data frame? Data frame is actually just like the relational database, what we have gone through in SQL while learning the SQL and all. So the same thing in Python side, on top of maybe list, maybe dictionary for several, uh, data related stuffs. On top of that, we have used pandas library, and we created the data frame. Okay, and for each of the data frame, there may be various kind of operation. What we have done in SQL side, so just like grouping, that is the aggregation function, sorting the thing to distinct what are the distinct values for particular columns. So those kind of basic operation what we have covered there as a SQL language. So that is a query language over there. The same thing we can do over here on top of data frame. The language is a bit different because it's a data frame, not a table at the database side. So that's why it's a bit different. So we can cover some more things on top of data frame today. And what we have planned the next day, maybe tomorrow, we can go ahead with connecting an external database, and we can show you that the same data frame what we have operated at Python side, that can be pushed as a table format. So we can store this thing as a table format. So basically we're working over here as a Python as a ETL tool, where we can take the data from the source CSV. So right now we're taking some data from the CSV file, as we already checked it in earlier sessions. So we're taking data from CSV, we are manipulating it. We can aggregate the function. We can aggregate the data on top of some requirements and all. Can clean the data, or various kind of operation we can do based on the requirement. And tomorrow onwards, we can quickly connect to the external database by Python. There are several connectors. Just like I'll be using MySQL, there should be MySQL connector, some library. And by using the credential, that can be authenticated and that can be connected easily from Python side. So the data frame we are working on, that data frame can be pushed to the database. So that is just like a live scenarios, or the project you are working, not in basic data frame that must be in high level. There may not be 3 4 columns in the business logic, and they're implemented everything over there. So there may be lots of columns, maybe 50 60 columns, lots of rows are, i mean uh, those things should be there as well. So the same kind of thing you can do in your industry or any other business solutions, not in small level, that should be in high level only. Maybe you cannot directly using this DF operation. There are some framework is being used there. So based on the project framework and all, but the internal things, those should be in this kind of, if you are using Python as a ETL tool on top of data engineering. Okay. So today we'll be covering the rest of the part. There are lots of operation in DF, data frame. So some of the thing we have already covered, and the important stuffs I'll be covering today. Okay. So we have created data frame. Let me go to PyCharm. So whoever is new, just I'll be quickly showing you. So this is a CSV file, exam underscore result. Okay, let me quickly open the thing. So I took this CSV file, I have created this thing at my side, and I'll be trying to import the same thing in Python. Okay, and I'll be creating the data frame on top of that. So the last 2 classes we have already worked on that thing. Just quickly showing you the same steps. I'll be creating the data frame on top of this data set, and on top of this data frame, we'll be doing lots of operation, analytics operation, or aggregation things we have already covered. So today I'll be covering also some aggregation function. So that's all for today's session. Let me quickly go through one by one. So I just have to take the path, which path the particular file has been placed. and the same thing I'm calling over here. Okay, C user, soft, Dropbox, PC, desktop. So this is the entire path. I'm calling the CSV. And what command we need to use? I'm using pandas. Pandas has been aliased as pd dot read CSV. This is a method which is calling a particular file. Okay, the CSV file, and it should be converting this thing in a data frame. Let me quickly print it. Whenever is new, then that should be a quick idea. So you can see this is the data frame. We have also gone through, we can put some head method to take the smallest subset of the data. Just we can check what are the columns. Okay. I took top two records by using dot head. Fine. Let's go through the thing for today's chapter. Adding or removing columns or rows as well. So this is the data frame. We have directly taken it from the CSV. Now for the manipulation purpose, we can add any columns, any rows. We can drop the columns as well. It should be as per our own wish. So how to do that thing? We print the same thing over here. So first of all, we are going to append. Okay. First, let me add some more thing. Just like class. Class should be our new column in the student data set. Okay, class is not there. So the same data frame we need to call. The new column should be present over here, and we can pass some values as well. Otherwise, it should be null in nature. So it should be. Let me put ninth class. Okay. Let me print the data frame again in the below or bottom. So you can see this is the top one. I just print two, and this is the second. The data frame after updating or introducing a new column class. So this thing can be done, and new columns, when new columns is required, maybe we need to in our project purpose we need to create a calculative field over there. So basically we need to, most of the thing we need to take from an external database or CSV, anything. Okay, we can import the thing by Python. Then in the project purpose, we must have to create some new columns based on the existing column. We can create some calculation on top of that and populate the same thing in a new column. So based on the requirement, which is not there in the source system or source data frame, we can do that stuff. We can discard the same thing as well. Let me discard the age. Okay. So how to do this thing? That should be inside. I can directly put it age. Okay. Age should be in caps. Then we should have to use drop. Or otherwise, let me directly put drop here. And pass age. Okay. We need to create an index there. Index equal 1. Why index is required? Index is mainly, if index equal 1, then it should be reading age as a column name. If index equal to 0, then by default it should be a row. If we can put index equal 0, or we cannot put as well. By default, if we are going ahead with drop statement, that should be understand that the row level operation, index 0. So while we are doing a column level operation, we must have to mention index equal 1. That means it's a column. To understand, Python can understand the same. They can print in this way. Okay, let me just quickly run it. What happened? Mm, okay, I just make it ready from over here as well. Give me 1 second, please. Sorry for that. Okay, I need to pass this thing as a list format. Sorry. What happened? Page was there. Let me quickly check. Okay. Can specify both levels and index columns. Okay. Let me do one thing. I'm creating another operation D of df1. I'm creating another one. Okay. So it's not able to delete the same thing in the same data frame. That is a conflict. So I'll be coming these things again. So I'm doing this thing operation on another data frame, df1. Okay. I need to create a backup. I need to create the copy. I'll be coming this thing later. This is a bit high level. No, different. Yeah, df2. I'm doing the same thing. No, I need to check something is occurring. I need to check from my side as well. If I'm doing any mistake. Okay, I'm going to the next topic. I'll be coming in this thing back again after the end of the classes. I'm removing of a particular columns. Maybe some mistake from my side or anything is not occurring. Okay, going to the next slide. Replace. So just I mean going to this thing, removing a columns. That's mean dropping a column which is existing in a data frame. Okay, sorry for my bad again. Maybe some mistake from my side, or I'm not. Maybe I have to do some prerequisite. Okay, okay. Going to the replace part. Into PyCharm. Let me print again. What is the data frame? Okay. Let me print the entire data frame. Okay. So the replace keyword, just like it should be same in Excel or any Notepad plus plus. We just kind of control F. We can replace sign kind of keyword as well. I mean keyword over there. So the same thing we can do over here. And it's just like the same thing with update concept in SQL side. If we just comparing the same thing, we can compare the same thing just like replacing one particular data with another one. Just like update set operator. The same thing is there as well. So we can replace df dot replace. We can mention what to replace with what. Just like I want to replace this name Raghu. Okay. With some other name. Just like Raman. I need to put again. Okay. So let me print on top of that. So there are two databases printed. The first one is this print. Let me put head. No, that is fine. So the first data set we can see, this is the original one, and we can quickly replace this one. Row number 1 has been replaced from Raghu to Raman. Okay, so replace kind of thing can be of, we can do this thing in this way. Can do this thing on top of any particular column as well, just like can put on name only. The same thing in a name. So only that column should be appeared and updated. Okay. So we did not take entire thing. Just like in Excel, particular columns we can select, and on top of that we can do the find operation or replace operation. The same thing can be done in this way. Okay, what are the other things? Okay, we can use the thing, do the thing on top, based on an dictionary as well. So dictionary data type we have already worked. So we can declare the same thing. Just like we have to declare a dictionary, the curly braces, and it should be in key value type. The first thing is key, which we need to find, and the second thing should be the value, which should be, that should be replaced by this one. So dictionary format, the operation can be done as well. Can do this thing multiple times. I mean, multiple keywords we can pass over here, but it should be in dictionary format. Okay. So just like Raghu should be replaced by Raman, Alex should be replaced by some other name. Okay. So that you can do with multiple dictionary values or keys, keys and values combination. Then we can pass the same thing over here. It should be working as per the old one, how we are using that thing. Okay. Yes. So this is the replace kind of stuffs we can use if we just want to quickly replace a particular value for a data frame, just like the update operator in structured query language, SQL. Okay, now modifying data type. So in Python as well as SQL, we have used that thing. Maybe we need to convert some string to integer. Maybe it's a string value, but it's in integer format. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. It's calculated as string for some reason or anything over there. So, but we need to take it as integer. So over there in Python, we have used this thing earlier, just like to integer, to underscore int, to underscore str. In Python, we can do that stuff. In pandas as well, those kind of operation can be done. Okay, so I can show you a quick example, just like this kind of date of birth. It's a string in format. Okay, it's not a date time data type. So we need to convert this kind of thing. In date data type for going at some date kind of functions or date kind of method. Okay. So, if you are just going at it, if you're already working in any kind of enterprise solutions or any kind of, uh, office works or just like this, we can see that we need to work on top of date dimensions, just like this. Lots of date kind of operation we have to go ahead on top of this kind of date. Just like we can extract date, month, particular which week, particular this thing is occurring. So lots of these kind of things. Just a quarter calculation, YTD, MTD. So those kind of date related functions we have to work on top of any kind of date field, but that is not possible if the column is in date data type. So to do that thing, we can convert the stuffs at the PD side, Python side as well. Not exactly Python, I want to mean pandas. Okay, PD. So how to do that thing? Yeah, let me create one thing, just like date of birth. On top of that, I'm creating birth date, or just like I'm declaring a variable. Okay, so where I can convert the thing PD to date time. This is the method in pandas, and I can pass date of birth date. So I can print over there birth date, the new variable, Okay. Again, why my code is not running well today for some reason. Okay, give me 1 second. Mhm. Yeah, I already made the code over here. Okay, okay, it's a data frame element. Let me run this thing. Yeah, okay. So, for Python or for pandas as well, the default date format should be in this format: YYYY hyphen month hyphen dd. But any other kind of representation of the date should be considered as a string value. Okay, so we can do this thing, and on top of that, we can do lots of operation. Just like uh, birth date is now in date format. We can see the date type as well. It's mentioned as the data type as date time 64. So on top of that, we can convert the thing just like dt dt year. We can extract the year on top of birth date. Okay. So this kind of operation we can do. We can extract the month as well on top of this thing. We can do various kind of, we can segregate in lower granularity level, and we can assemble them as well to form our own date dimension, date table, or just like this. Just like we can create the YTD, MTD calculation, QTD as well. We can calculate the quarter end, everything. But first of all, we need to convert the thing into specific date format. So this is the, in pandas we can convert from string to date in this way, to underscore date time. This is a conversion function to date. Okay. So we can just do this calculation and we can update the same thing, or we can insert this particular column again to the data frame. So how to do that thing? We can just quickly create another, just like year one. Okay. Then again df, just like year std. Or I can directly pass the calculation over here as well. This calculation. Sorry. It's getting hard coded over here. Yeah. So the same data frame, I have included this calculation again. Okay. So this kind of new columns we can introduce. This is a particular calculative columns. What we have done, we just extracted the year and inserted the thing over here as well. So this is a minimal calculation we can do and insert the same thing as a new column over here. So, and that can be done as well if you are working in an organization, not this much simple, maybe some more calculation you can do and insert the same thing in the same data frame. Okay. So this is just like modifying data type in pandas and how that can be useful in your logical operation. Okay. Now that is pivot table. What is pivot? Just I want to go through a quick example in my Excel sheet. I'll be working on top of this exam result. That's why. So pivot is another representation of data. If you have already created the pivot from Excel, that is fine. So how this thing should be looking like? So if I just took two particular dimensions, just like what is dimension, I think you are already aware. So if not, we can cover up this session maybe after 1 or 2 more days. What is dimension? What is fact? So dimension is just like this name. Name is a dimension in that table. Subject is a dimension in this table. Marks is not a dimension. It's a value or measures we can say. Okay. It is also called fact data. So in details, I'll be coming. So suppose if we are working in a visualization developer or just like this, we need to choose particular chart or particular graph which is suitable for representation some data based on which measures or metrics our business want to see. We need to determine the particular table or chart we want to show or we need to present in front of them. So pivot is just like another kind of representation. So how we can represent it? Maybe two or more dimensions we can use. I'm quickly just showing you. So we can put the columns as a subject over here. Subject. So two subject will be represented over here in column. Just like we can aggregate the subject. We can see that history and mathematics. Okay, and this is a row level structure. We can introduce this thing, history and maths, and in name side we can put the thing just like Swapnil, Raghu, okay, Alex. So it's just like one kind of you can say transpose thing as well. Not exactly the Excel transpose. It's a bit different. We just take the distinct value of name from this axis to this axis. Okay, just like Ranjit. So and now we can pass the value in this element, this format. So the entire stuff can be done by cross tab or that is called pivot by the command. So just like history, what Swapnil received in history 13. Okay. So in mathematics, what Swapnil received 13 as I'm sorry, it's age. So in value, I'm passing the marks, not age. So it should be 600. Over here, it should be 700. Just like this. If any value is missing there in Python by default, it should be null value. How can null value can be represented in Python? It should be looking like this, none, NN. Okay, let me quickly convert it. Then that thing can be understandable. So the same way, let me discard this thing. We have gone through the data type modification as well as some operation on date. Okay, and inserted the same records over there. Okay, I can work on top of here as well. Let me create a new data frame. It's like df1 or df pivot equal. So the existing df dot pivot. This is the method. Okay, I'm working on top of df. That's why df dot pivot. I need to declare the indexes. Index. What is index? Index is the row. So over there we are using subject. Okay, and the column should be name. Okay, n should be in caps. There may be multiple columns as well, multiple indexes as well. That should be an aggregation function. Okay. So if we are using multiple things at a single variable or just like single columns, then we need to pass in list format. In list, we need to pass both of them. Otherwise, it should be throwing error. Values should be marks. Okay. I'm printing in the new data. Let me check. Okay. So this is the thing. We can convert the same thing over here in this format. So you can say that the group by thing, there should be a grouping operation on top of both indexes and columns. So over there, we can see multiple rows are there, multiple line items there for Alex, or maybe um, Alex's as well. What we can say, Ranjit as well. Multiple line items should be there. Rohit as well. Multiple line items should be there. Shopnil as well. So they should be having, they are mentioning twice over here based on two subjects and their marks. But when we are pivoting, we can see they are aggregating on top of the data, and they're keeping the distinct value on subject, that is history and maths. Again, they're distinct, doing the thing on top of name and putting it on columns. Okay. And the value should be populating from this. And it's more suitable to check, or any whoever is working in top of, I mean, testing or QA related stuffs. So they might have to know, I mean, lots of things on pivot. While doing the testing part, this is I mean, easier way to catch the error on top of data. Okay. Especially the business, you can see they are all time they are opening the pivot from the Excel. You presenting a data to them, you have presented a data. So they just converted into pivot and they are looking for it, what is the issue and what should be there. The NaN means none, null value, because Arnav did not receive maths marks over here. Maybe he did not appear, or his marks it is not yet uploaded in Excel sheet. So this is the thing. NaN is just null value that we have represented earlier. So this is pivot. So any doubt from anyone till now? I didn't ask this thing earlier, so hopefully no. Okay. Only one part dropping thing was not there. I'll be trying it today again. Otherwise, I'll be covering maybe some prerequisite or anything I have missed there. So I'll be quickly go through that stuffs again. Maybe today or the next session. So what are the other things? Different aggregation. Okay, aggregation part I have covered last working day, but this is another thing I just forgot to mention. Different aggregation. We cannot go ahead only on single aggregation. We can do multiple aggregation in the single command as well. So we can do min, max, just like standard deviation in a single data frame. Not, we do not have to go through multiple data frames as well. So I already made the code over here available. Just like, let me pick this thing. I'm deleting pivot. Okay. So it should be df. Let me just remove that stuff. Okay. Just group by what we have done earlier. We have done on top of, we already gone through the group by operation. Group by on top of some columns. Then that should be grouped. Okay. Let me do one by one. Otherwise that thing is not what we have done earlier. Okay. This operation we have gone through. Df mean. Okay. So on top of subject name, we are doing the mean operation. That thing already we have gone through in last day. Okay. So it's aggregating the thing first up on subject. So we are grouping the thing, history and maths. Then again, we are grouping on top of name. Then the numerical value should be working as a mean. Okay, this thing. But over here, we can use another function on top of this group by. We can use aggregation function. How that thing should be working? Why that should be used? If we just want to, maybe on top of marks we are doing min, on top of age we are doing some other thing, max, mean, I mean this mean min, or maybe we are doing some count operation. So that is aggregation function is required, and inside the dictionary we can, okay. So aggregation function, within aggregation function we can declare a dictionary there, and in dictionary we can use the key value pair which things needs to be operated in which manner. Suppose uh, you can go ahead with marks. Okay, marks should be mean in nature. Then again, age. Suppose age, I'll be doing the count operation, the same thing what I have done earlier. So it will be counting how many ages are present for a particular name of particular student. That should be obviously one because this is not duplicate. I mean, Alex history. Alex is taking history as a subject and it's present only one. One occurrence is there. If I mentioned again history, Alex, then age should be counting as two. Not sure if you have understand the thing. Let me quickly show you over here. So I'm printing the data frame with grouping by this two. Aggregation function is there on top of marks. It should be doing mean operation, and on top of age, it should be doing the count operation. Yes. Okay. So the same thing in top of marks, they are doing the mean operation. But over here, it's a single, I mean, single field is there. There is not such field available with mine. I mean, the data. If the data is duplicated, maybe uh, Alex's result is there for first semester, he received 800. I can input another semester result, but do not mention the semester as well. Then the mean should be properly working. Okay. But over here, Alex received history marks only once in the entire data set. That's why no operation on mean. I mean, no change we can see on top of mean over here. Even for age as well. Alex, I mean, that particular age has been mentioned only once in the data frame. That's why the count operation is returning one. Okay. We cannot see combination of Alex and history multiple times over here. Alex and maths is there, but it's not twice. Let me check. Let me omit subject. I think I can get. Yeah. Top of name, I'm doing this thing. Yes. So you can see over here, the marks means it should be mean in nature. So what he is receiving, Alex is receiving in maths and history, it's just doing the arithmetical mean operation. So addition of these two marks, then divided by two. So this is the thing, and the age is two because uh, I'm doing the grouping by on top of name. So how many ages are present for Alex? Maybe the age is same, but it's twice based on the name. If I just introduce the subject, then grouping by on subject and naming convention, then that will be taking as a distinct record for the age. But over here, I just put the name field over here and top of this thing, it's grouping the thing. That's why it's segregating two records twice. Okay. So this is the convention or the logic to understand. Okay. I think this is the aggregation. We can do this thing on two different columns. We can really do that stuff. Or not only two, actually, we can do multiple things, multiple columns aggregation. Okay. So another thing that is merging of the data frame that should be the last topic and very much important. So merging of two data frame. So how can we merge two data frame? Maybe we can do the union operation. What we have done in SQL SQL as well. If we have same number of columns between two data frames, we can merge the thing. Merge means we cannot remove the two things. We can merge it on column level. I mean, it's vertical merging, we can also say. Okay, just like in Excel, I want to mention. Suppose we have another data set. This is one data set. And we can take some header as well. Okay, so I can do only these two records. So this is a data set. This is a data set. If we just go ahead with column level, vertical merging operation that is having some keyword in industry, or there may not be this kind of similar kind of stuff should be there. There may be separate thing or separate result set something. So if we just going to merge the thing, it should be working in this way. The first data set again, it should be merging second data set. Okay, so the resultant data set should be in this way. Okay, let me just quickly go through the thing. So here we have data frame. I'm creating another data frame df1 from this data frame. Just I'm copying it. Okay, now we have two different data frame. One is df and another one is df1, but both of them should be having the same data. Okay, so whatever data there is, we do not bother on that one because those are same. I do not create another set of data. It can create quickly from the Excel, but as of now, just for example, it's not very hard to understand. Okay, let's do how to merge the operation. I'm doing the merging operation on top of df1 itself. So we can do df1. There is concatenate operation, append operation is there. Lots of operation we can do. Okay, we can pass in this way. Let me print the entire stuff. So both of the same data frame has been merged to a single one. Okay, we received a warning. What is the warning? Future warning. This is frame.append method is depreciated and will be removed from pandas. In a future version, use pandas.concatenate. Concat. So you can also use pd.concat and we can pass those two data frames. That should be working in the same way. Okay, but it should be appending. So it's horizon. It's vertical merging. We can say it's just like a union operation between two data sets. Now we can go ahead with horizontal level of merging, which is also called the join. Whatever we have done in SQL join, left join, right join, inner join between two data sets, maybe we need to pick some other records, some other columns from another data set, and we need to create a resultant data set which should be having our desired columns. So for that thing, we need to go ahead with join operation. Okay. So how we can perform the join? We have the merge operator, merge method over there. Okay, for that example, I have for join operation, to learn join operation, I created these two, teacher and student, these two data set. Let me open them. I will be quickly import the same thing and we can go through the example. Okay. If there is any issue for understanding or anything, please tell me. Maybe I'll be trying to clear in the same class, or maybe I'll be taking this thing in the next class at the beginning and we can quickly cover the same thing. Okay, so this is what kind of I open student data set. It's having just like ID. It should be student ID, obviously. Class, which classes the student is reading, the name of the student, in particular teacher ID. Maybe who is the owning teacher, I mean, maybe the class teacher for that particular student. So the teacher ID is present over here. And we have another data set called teacher. It's only having two particular columns, which is ID. This ID is teacher ID, obviously, and the subject. The particular teacher ID is responsible for which subject. Okay. So we'll be joining between these two data sets. These two data set on top of teacher ID. Over here in the first table, in student table, we have mentioned is a teacher ID. In the teacher table, the same ID is, I have only put only ID over there. I can also put teacher ID directly, but let me show you quickly what is the difference. And okay, we can join between these two data set with this common column. This is the ID from the teacher table and teacher ID from the student table. Okay. So how to do that thing? Let me delete that stuff. Let me quickly import the particular two CSV files, student and teacher. Okay. We copy the same thing again. Okay, data frame name. Let me change it a bit. Is a student one, that's why I'm put DFS. The teacher one, it is DFT. Okay, let me run. Okay, it's fine. Let me quickly print it. Otherwise, you cannot understand. Okay, so it's properly imported over there. We can see in proper manner ID class name teacher ID, and this is the teacher table is having ID and subject. So I'll be joining based on these two common column. From teacher it should be ID, and for student it should be teacher ID. We can do multiple. We can also update this common column name in a single name. So what should be different naming convention should be there on top of that. Let me quickly show you. Let me go ahead with merging operation. I'll be merging the stuffs. Let me just bring something over here. Just to segregate these two data for one knowledge. Okay, fine. Let me declare another table, just like df merge, dfm. Okay, so it should be pandas merge operation. Let me call the data frame I want to join, that is DFS and DFT. DFS and DFT. Okay, I have the column handy. I mean, let me quickly pull this thing. Left on teacher ID. Let me pull this thing for you. Quick understanding. I'll be replace the name accordingly. Okay, so pd.merge is equal to DFS, DFT. Now, which order I'm taking this thing? So this is considered as a left table. DFT is considered as a right table. Okay, so in DFS is a student table. There is a common column that is teacher ID. So left, the keyword is left underscore on, left on teacher ID, comma, right on ID. In DFT, we can see this is the ID column based on which we will be joining. Okay. Now we can just print TFM. Okay. By default, we are not doing putting any keyword to join, whether it's an inner join or left outer join or fully outer join or right outer join. So by default, it should be inner join. Just like the same SQL operation, if we do not mention anything, just we mention join keyword there, by default, it should be inner join in nature in SQL query. The same thing should be there in data frame as well. So let me print that stuff. Okay. So you can see in the new data frame df merge, dfm, we can see all the columns has been pulled. Okay. But we can see ID column is present. I mean, this is a student ID in the student table. This is the teacher ID at the teacher table. But we have pulled everything in a single data set. Python has modified and renamed that a particular column to remove the ambiguous name. The two ID should be there. That is not possible for a single data frame. That's why they have updated the ID underscore X, which is student ID, ID underscore Y, which is teacher ID. But we have joined on based on these two, teacher ID and ID from the second data set. Now the concept is if we just go ahead only one single column, maybe we have converted this name as teacher ID. Then no need to put left on, right on over there. We can directly, let me quickly update it. Okay, teacher ID. So for sake of joining, uh, what happens actually, most of the cases, while doing the join operation, people check whether we are using the common column name. Then lots of things should be saved on this kind of ambiguity also do not occurs. If we have ID, student ID or teacher ID, then it can be modified. I mean, this kind of operation should not be tackled by Python. So we can take teacher ID over here in this way. Now it should be having teacher ID and teacher ID. And we do not have to put right on, left on because we have the common column name teacher ID now. Okay. So you can simply pass on because both of the data frame is having teacher ID. Let me quickly run it to check. I'm correct. No. What happened? Okay, I didn't save it. I have to save it there. I think I haven't saved it. Let me save it and close it. Close it. This thing as well because you can see the second data frame is still pointing to ID. That's why the join operation has been failed. Okay. Now we can see it's teacher ID. It's also teacher ID. Yeah, only one single column teacher ID. It has been joined. Okay. So that's why we do not have to put left on, right on because we have renamed the common column name. Now how to control left outer, right outer? Just we need to use another keyword within this merge operation, how. In how we can mention, by default it's inner, but we can also mention inner over here or we can mention left over here. Okay. So based on that, which operation it would, I mean, how is the field which should be controlling, which joining operation it should be performing. Okay. I have took the data set such a way that it should not affect, but you can try or you can try in another class having much more, I mean, less records in over here and in teacher, there may be full sets of teacher for other subject as well. Then it should be quite visible what is left operation, what is right operation, what is full join and all. Okay. But the concept is the same thing. What we have already gone through in SQL. SQL, we have the specific data set we have gone through to check the proper way for right operation, left operation and all. So the same thing is there, only the syntax difference is this, but the merging concept is same. Okay, so hopefully those things covers for today. Any issue while understanding the joining operation or any other thing from anyone? Shanti or Varadvaj?
No, we are good.
Okay, then it's fine. The dropping up, yeah, we missed that thing. Dropping up a particular column, maybe there is some syntax or maybe I missed some prerequisite. I'll be quickly checking from my side from today's beginning of the class. I can quickly show you that stuff to you. And tomorrow we'll be connecting SQL Server or MySQL Server from Python. And the same data frame we can input there as a table at the database. We can also take some table from MySQL. We can do some operation on top of that one and we can import the same thing in the table as well. So those operation we can go ahead in tomorrow's session. So for today, that's all. Let's connect tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Okay.